going to be continuing my theme from last week, and I'll be doing a caramel crunch cake. Now this is a really popular cake at the cafe. It's 2 layers of caramel sponge with caramel buttercream. Basically, if you love caramel, you love cake, this is the cake for you. Let's begin. Before I begin, I'm going to line 2 of my cake tins. And to do this, I'm just going to use 2 squares of greaseproof paper. And you can draw around it if you want, but I prefer just doing this by folding it straight in half that way, and then half again. And you want to just keep this point as neat as possible, and then fold it into a triangle, and again. And then what I like to do is just to measure roughly where it will come to the middle, and then just use a pair of scissors just to cut around. And this should hopefully make a nice circle that will fit straight in the base, like so. And finally, I'm just going to use some non-stick spray just to go around the sides, just to ensure that it won't stick. To begin with, I've already put in my mixing bowl 250 grams of soft unsalted butter, and to that I'm going to be adding some light brown sugar. Light brown sugar will give the sponge a really nice caramel flavour, and that's the reason I'll be using it as opposed to, say, caster sugar. I'm then going to just pop this on a medium speed for about 6 to 7 minutes until it's nice and light. This has been going for about 6 minutes now, and as you can see, this mix has gone really light and pale in colour, which is exactly what we need. So for the next stage, I'm going to be adding 1 egg at a time at a low speed to begin with, and then I'll crank up the speed just so it fully incorporates, and then I'll just keep repeating this process until all the eggs are in. In this bowl, I've got some self-raising flour. I'm just going to shuffle through this sieve, and then I'll be adding that straight in to this mix at a low speed. And finally, I'm going to add a touch of vanilla. Now this mix is good to go. I've got my 2 pre-prepared tins, and I'm just going to split the mix equally between the 2 of them. These are now equally divided, so I'm just going to use a small palette knife just to level off the mix and push it around the sides. I'm going to bake these at 170 degrees C for about 25 minutes, or until a knife comes out clean. So my sponges are now out of the oven and they're just cooling down over here. I'm now going to move on to my buttercream. I'll be making a caramel buttercream, and in my mixing bowl here I've got some unsalted butter that's nice and soft. I'm going to just mix that for about 2 or 3 minutes so it's nice and loose. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to just sift through some icing sugar just to make sure there's no lumps, and all of the quantities will be in the description box below. I'm now going to put half of the icing sugar into this mix and then beat it for about 3 or 4 minutes until it's well combined, and then I'll add the rest of the icing sugar. To this mix, I'm now going to add some caramel syrup, just to give it the nice caramel flavour that I'm after. And then I've also got a little bit of milk as well, just to get the consistency right. If you add too much milk, you do run a risk of it splitting. So I'm just going to add a little bit at a time until I get that nice smooth consistency that I'm after. So this is my buttercream now fully ready for piping. I'm just going to stick it to one side and turn my attention back to my sponges. I'll be using a turntable for this, it just makes life a little bit easier. And then I've also got a wooden board, and I'm just going to stick some greaseproof paper over the top. And for the sponges, what I'm going to do is just trim off the top layer, and the way that I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to go in from one side, make a little mark like that, and then I'm just going to turn it around until all of the cake is marked up. I find this is the easiest way of doing this. You just have to keep the knife nice and steady. Both of my sponges are now levelled off, so I'm going to start to decorate them using my caramel buttercream. And for this, I'm just going to fill a piping bag using a round nozzle. It's really important just to kind of force it all the way down so you don't get any air pockets within the piping bag. And tighten it from the top, and the way that you want to use this piping bag is to apply pressure on the top part and just guide it with this part. What I'm going to do is just do lines going into the centre. Going to use a palette knife just to smooth over the middle part, like so. Doesn't need to be too neat. And then I've got some caramel here, which I've left the recipe for in the description box below. I've just popped it through the microwave so it's nice and runny, as you can see. And I'm just going to drizzle this over parts of the cake. I'm now going to place the second sponge on the top, and I'm just going to turn it upside down so you've got a nice flat surface to then work from. And then I'm just going to use the rest of my buttercream just to decorate the top with. I'm now going to finish this off with even more caramel, and I'll be drizzling this the same as before, so it just goes over the edges, and I'll also be creating a pool of caramel in the middle. I'm now going to top this off with some salted caramel chips. And this just gives a really nice crunchy texture to the cake. And finally, I'll be adding on some chocolate swirls just to finish it all off. So there you have it, the perfect caramel crunch cake. For all you caramel lovers out there, this is a cake you just have to try. Until then, I'll see you next time.